What if I told you that everything you think you know about PMS, the cramps, the mood swings, that monthly misery, is wrong? Today, we are going to take a deep dive and look at this through a totally different lens. Because it turns out, this isn't about just being a woman. It's about your body's energy. This right here, this gets to the heart of everything. The idea that you're just supposed to suffer every month, it's a total myth. There's a whole field of study called bioenergetics, which is all about how energy works in our bodies, and it tells a very different story. It says those symptoms are a massive red flag. Your body is basically screaming that its fundamental energy system is in crisis. But here's the most important part. This is not a life sentence. So, to really see how this plays out in the real world, let's walk through a story that might sound, well, a little too familiar to a lot of you. It's a classic case of a common problem getting a common solution that just completely misses the point. Let's talk about Rebecca. She's 38, and her monthly cycle was, well, a predictable disaster. For her, that last week of her cycle wasn't just a little uncomfortable, her entire life would just shut down. It would start with irritability and insane cravings, then came the emotional meltdowns and the painful bloating, and it would all end with cramps and headaches so bad she could barely function. A total shutdown every single month. So what did her doctor do? Exactly what you'd expect. The go-to fix for millions of women, hormonal birth control. The promise was that it would regulate her hormones and make everything better. But did it actually solve the problem, or did it just slap a Band-Aid on a much deeper issue? Well, for Rebecca, the result was a nightmare. She gained weight, her sex drive completely vanished, she was tired all the time, and she felt depressed. In her own words, she felt like a zombie version of herself. See, the pill didn't regulate anything, it just shut her natural hormones down completely. The root cause was still there, and her overall health was actually getting worse. And you've got to understand this. Suppression is not regulation. And that brings us to the core idea from this bioenergetic view, the estrogen trap. We need to reframe PMS. It's not a flaw in your design, it's your body's own internal alarm system desperately trying to tell you that it's running on fumes. The real villain in this whole story is something called estrogen dominance. Now, pioneering researchers in this field like the great Dr. Ray Peat, he redefined estrogen. Forget the female hormone. He called it a stress hormone. And that changes everything. When your body is stressed and it can't make enough energy, estrogen levels creep up, while its protective partner, progesterone, takes a nosedive. This chart gives you a perfect visual of the war going on inside your body. Just picture a seesaw. On one side, you've got estrogen, the stressor. It tanks your thyroid function, makes you bloated and puffy, messes with your blood sugar, and jacks up stress signals in your brain. But on the other side, you've got progesterone, the protector. It does the exact opposite. It supports your metabolism, calms inflammation, and keeps you stable. When you're healthy, that seesaw is balanced. When you have PMS, it's dangerously tilted to the estrogen side. So the big question is, why is this hormonal seesaw breaking for so many of us? This isn't just random bad luck. There are specific things in our modern world that are pushing our bodies into this state. Let's call them the metabolic saboteurs. These are the things that are literally draining our energy and wrecking our hormones. Okay, first up, seed oils. We're talking about those polyunsaturated fats, or PUFAs. You know, they're in everything: salad dressings, chips, and pretty much anything you get from a restaurant. These things don't just slow down your metabolism. They actually increase an enzyme in your body that turns testosterone into more estrogen. So you're literally adding fuel to the fire every time you eat them. Saboteur number 2 is a sluggish thyroid. Think of your liver as your body's main filtration plant for used-up hormones. But for it to work properly, it needs enough thyroid hormone. When your metabolism is slow, and a good sign of that is a low body temperature, your liver just can't clear out all that excess estrogen. So it builds up and recirculates, causing more problems. Then you've got chronic stress. And this is fascinating. Your body makes its main stress hormone, cortisol, and the protective hormone, progesterone, from the same starter molecule called pregnenolone. So when you're constantly stressed out from not eating enough, from crazy workouts, from terrible sleep, your body goes into panic mode. It prioritizes making cortisol, and it literally steals the building blocks it needs from the progesterone pathway. You're left stressed out and unprotected. Next up, your gut.
An unhealthy gut is a huge problem because bad bacteria can release these things called endotoxins. Now, these toxins, they don't just stay in your gut. Oh no, they leak into your bloodstream, they cause inflammation all over, and this is the kicker, they actually trigger your fat tissue to produce even more estrogen. So a sick gut directly equals hormonal chaos. And finally, we're right back where we started, the conventional solution, birth control. By its very design, it's meant to shut down your body's own hormone factory. That means you don't ovulate, which means you don't make any of that crucial protective progesterone. It leaves the real underlying metabolic problems to just get worse and worse over time.
Okay, I know that all sounds pretty bleak, but here is the empowering part. This is the good news. If this is truly an energy problem, then you have the power to fix it by giving your body what it needs to make energy again. This isn't about some magic pill, it's about a clear, step-by-step approach to restoring your metabolism.
So here it is, your 5-step framework to take back control. And you'll notice it directly fights back against those 5 saboteurs we just talked about. You have to fuel your thyroid, get the inflammatory fats out, heal your gut, give your body the building blocks for progesterone, and lower your overall stress load. It all works together. And sometimes the most powerful tools are the simplest ones. This raw carrot salad is a legend in the bioenergetic world for a reason. The special fibers in a raw carrot act like a perfect little scrub brush in your gut. They bind onto those nasty endotoxins and excess estrogen, and they help your body safely get rid of them. It's such a simple thing to do every day, but it can make a massive difference.
So what happened with Rebecca? Well, this timeline shows her incredible turnaround. Once she stopped trying to suppress her hormones and started focusing on fixing her metabolism, her body started to heal. Her morning temperature, a key sign of her metabolic rate, came right back up to normal. Her symptoms, gone. And by the 6th month, her period became such a non-issue that she literally forgot it was coming. Her text says it all. That is what normal is supposed to feel like.
But this is about so much more than just having an easier period. When you actually solve the root energy problem, the benefits ripple out across your entire life. And as we're about to see, they can even ripple into the next generation. This just shows you the true scale of what we're talking about. PMS is often just the canary in the coal mine. The exact same metabolic dysfunction is driving things like fertility problems, weight that won't budge, chronic fatigue, anxiety, the list goes on. When you fix your cellular energy, you aren't just fixing one symptom, you are upgrading your entire body's operating system. 35. I just want you to look at this number for a second. Let it sink in. Because what I'm about to tell you is staggering, and it shows why this conversation is so much bigger than just feeling good yourself. That number, 35, comes from the incredible research of a Dr. Katharina Dalton. She discovered a 35-point average difference in IQ between babies born to mothers who had healthy progesterone levels and those who were deficient. Let me say that again. A mother's metabolic health, her hormonal balance, has a direct, profound, measurable impact on her child's brain development. And so we end with this question. Understanding that PMS is an energy problem doesn't just give you a path to heal yourself, it gives you the power to change the health of your future family. It reframes taking care of yourself as a generational act. This isn't just about breaking the cycle of cramps and mood swings. It's about breaking a cycle of poor metabolic health and building a whole new legacy. So what cycle will you break?